Call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. We'll continue the second half of the budget meeting this evening.
Start off with, we did not receive anything back from the contractor on the brown granite windows yet, so we did ask, so we won't be able to visit about that further, but when we get that information, we can share that with you.
What was that first estimate? I don't have that with me.
So initially, a couple years ago, we received the estimate to replace all the windows in brown granite, and it was $325,000 for straight replacement. Then 2 years later, we go out to bid using the bid specs that the State Historic Preservation Office had given us, which was the remove the rotted pieces or the bad pieces, and then add the storm windows on the front, replace the glazing. And that was $238,000 for the base bid, and then we add 10% contingency for that. So what we asked of them is if we split it into phases, one, fix the windows, replace the glazing for phase one, phase two would be to add the storm windows. That's what we asked the contractor. We haven't heard back.
It was actually $262,421.50.
Does that include the 10%?
Yes.
And then that's just for the north windows.
The 10% contingency doesn't necessarily have to be there. The purpose of that piece was so that we didn't have to have an additional, wait till an additional meeting if any extra work needed to be done. So that's always if there's small things, it's helpful to have it in place, but it's not mandatory.
So are we gonna talk about this?
I mean, it'd be helpful for you to give us some guidance if you want to make the adjustment to CIP as far as how much we can allocate to them, but I know it's difficult without having that information. And really, Amber, from a timing standpoint, we just have to look at county, by July 20th, if we're going to exceed the R&R, right? And then we would typically have until a little bit later in August to publish the budget, is that correct?
Yeah, I wouldn't publish it until August 21st.
So we would have one more meeting then that we could talk about this August 6th, and then we get a decision then and still make some adjustments to CIP, is that right?
Yeah, and really that's a fluid thing, so you're just really supposed to have stuff allocated, which we do, but you can always change it, so.
But what budget year will this expense take? We have 50,000 allocated for fiscal year 25.
Yeah.
And then what you would be talking about is what would we allocate for 26 to get to our total. At this point in time, the actual expense probably wouldn't take place until 2026.
So we have allocated for the windows 50,000
Yes.
for this year,
Yes.
and next year we don't have any projects, at least from CIP.
Oh, right.
Separate from the CIP, we just pay the utilities and
Yes. And that just comes out of the general fund. It has its own budget. I think, am I right? Yeah. Its own budget detail for the operations side that we're responsible for, meaning the utilities.
Well, there's also the 60,000 in there for the boiler replacement.
Yeah.
That's this year also.
That's this year? Okay.
And we ended up reducing the scope on that because that bid came in very high. And so we put humidity sensors and the VFDs for the air handlers to try to get that noise down. Wasn't a total fix that we wanted, but again, because the bids came in so much higher, we didn't want to exceed what we had budgeted. So we will have some funds left over from that.
I did have a question on CIP. The wheat fields, there's 30,000 special parks and recreation. I couldn't find in the budget where that came from.
The special Parks and Rec fund isn't it's not a budgeted fund, so it's not really in there except for informational. There's a page at the, if you look at the state budget form.
That's our alcohol tax, right?
That's my recollection.
budgeted funds, sorry. Page 11. As building, and that just, the 30,000 is in the current year that we had put there for the lights. And then every year I budget to spend it down to 0, just in case we have any other projects that come up. So that's what that 55,000. We don't have to amend the budget for it, but that's where that 30,000 comes in. And I tried to show at the bottom of the CIP schedule where that 30,000 is. You can see that the current balance in there as of June 30th was 61,000. Then we take that 30 and now we have 31,000. So those, all those balances of those funds are as of June 30th.
So I was curious, because I didn't take time to go through it all, but what have we spent at the ball diamonds this year? Because this is just from 6:30 on, possibilities. Because with what's in the rest of the 25 budget, what's in CIP, and what's in 26, that's 171,000 just from the ball field. I was curious what else we spent this year.
This year, I don't think we've spent anything
As
yet.
far as projects out of CIP now.
And it's kind of one that we've carried these over multiple years. So it's kind of, I guess I don't know the timeline on getting this done, but these have been, some of these have been here for several years and just not happened yet.
The
But yeah,
plan
so
for the
far-
lights is, will be coming to you pretty soon, cause I have the laid out timeline of how to step it out instead of one full project. Because of the price,
You're talking about the parking lot security lights.
the mall, the lights,
The mall
PV
lights.
lights.
They're separate.
Yeah, I just didn't know which one was
Yeah.
coming up. So would it make sense, going back to the Brown Grand windows, does it make sense to? And we have 50,000 that'll carry over from this budget year that we have already allocated. So an additional 50,000 for 2026 for a total budget of 100,000, or is that excessive because we don't know what it is without the storm windows, et cetera?
I don't think it's excessive. I think that's very. I don't think it's gonna come down that much in price. It's
I don't
mine.
either.
No,
I don't necessarily think it is either, but that's a good chunk, and then without the storm windows,
Just
and
as a
then
placeholder.
possibly some grant funding that can be found along the way, then could make up a difference, yeah, a placeholder. At least then we have a portion of it, and then when we, I mean, obviously some more might have to come out of another place, but a placeholder. At 50. So that it's, that's 50
So
for,
in theory, you'd have 100 allocated plus whatever the overage would be from the savings, or whatever the savings would be from the boiler, so 100 and change, which may be half of it, but at least it's some. But I don't know about allocating
just some.
150 to get us to 200. I don't know if that makes sense either. May have spent.
Right. So just wait.
I would like to wait at least until we find out what the cost is.
The breakdown. Okay, very well. Put that off.
And so then, utility funds have really a lot to talk about, but we, except for the positive of our rate increase went into effect at the beginning of this year, so that's reflected in our estimate of 2025 on that first page. Then you can see in 26 and 27, the increases, we have steps up into our schedule and then maintaining that after that. So then the bottom line, the very last row, you can see how our reserves are looking, and it's down in 26, just in if we purchase the backhoe at 179,000, which he's been wanting to do. have our water tower maintenance program, which is near the bottom there. That drops off, that payment, not drops off, lowers the payment. So both towers will be paid around 24,000 each, so that helps to build up our reserve and. Of course, our other large purchase doesn't appear that it's going to be dropping off, which is meters. That is going to be constant.
You said it, Chairman, I just remember, how many meters are you replacing a year now?
Oh, it just depends on the month. It's anywhere from 30 to 60 a month and they're, you know. Different sizes cost different amounts, but we're just replacing the head and we call it the hot rod. That's what sends the signal. So it's anywhere from $170 to $300 per meter. So
And the lifespan on those is,
it's a 10-year warranty.
okay,
So the ones we're replacing, if they go bad within that 10 years, we can get warranty out of them. But all of them that we're replacing now are 12 years old. So we did this and I started replacing meters in 2010. And got it done in 2 years. So it's expense. No, it's an expense that'll probably stick around for a while, pretty heavily, and then taper off for several years until they start
cycling through.
getting out of warranty again.
So is the amount that we have in here for the future years of 10,000, is that?
We didn't start that till 27, and I mean. You could technically say that comes from the capital outlay amount that we rarely take from also, so. No, it could be largely different, but so could that, so. But for 26, I put 50 in there and 53 in there.
And it's more than that. We're spending more than that a year. I thought, that whole increase what is the increase for the first year? What does that amount to?
I don't know what it was supposed to be, but
I figured it was gonna take up that whole increase first year.
started that massive expense in 24.
Yeah, we did. We started a lot. But this month when we read, it would have been, it would have been less than 20. I think it would have been less than 20 this month, 20 or 30. But we're waiting on meters. That's the other thing. It's the wait on those meters. It's kind of hard to get a hold of. Yeah, other than changing companies and doing a whole new $2 million, it's just not feasible. $2 million upgrade to a different company, but other companies are the same way. Their meters go dead too.
Can you explain kind of how we're doing the billing when the meter goes dead?
The meter doesn't actually go completely dead. It still registers, it just doesn't read onto the computer, so we can go hand read the meter. But when you have 150 dead meters or dead hot rods spread throughout the town, it takes 3-4 days to go read those meters. It's just inconvenient. But we're getting revenue from those meters that I call dead.
Manually check them.
Manually check.
And that is underestimated on the water receipts, so I mean, hopefully it will come out better than that. We haven't had a full year of it. Yeah, I think I put like 130,000. Our calculation was 142,000. Here on just water. Single sewer just a little bit low, so. Really better. We'll still be fine. Still better than it was. Good for the future.
Looks like it was probably pretty important that we made the increase that we did then. Considering
Haven't done projects in the water sewer department. Several years. I guess it shows on here, the last projects were repairs in a water line for Runsville that we kind of had to do since 2020. That's all we've done, so. It's needed.
And those projects that I would wanna do, I mean, we don't have. Said this morning, we don't have problem areas like we used to, certain mains, we've had main breaks on all the time and we got rid of those. And the projects that I would wanna do, if he was doing something, I would. And work in conjunction with him. If he had a new street going in, I would replace the main under the street or move it out of the street. That kind of a project.
What's the current estimate for a block of water main?
Yeah, that's the other thing, depending on services and stuff like that, it's over 300,000. So one block of water main and service line. 300. Yeah. 300 pennies. Pesos. Let's order a couple of blocks.
But all for utilities?
Yes.
The last several years, we've really been able to decrease our time that we spend on the budget. We usually have like one or two major things that take a lot of discussion. How would you guys feel about maybe next year, provided there's not anything huge that we see coming down? Planning for a one long budget study session and then doing it if needed. So do it like on a Monday, like we did this time, then an if needed budget study session after the regular commission meeting on Wednesday. That makes sense from a planning standpoint.
I like extra meetings, so
We're happy to schedule them for you.
I appreciate that.
it's hard to tell how long this is gonna last, before we have our next. Depends how much discussion, so that seems reasonable.
Well, I think what's taken us a long time, I mean, when we have a significant increase in health insurance and we have to look at how do we want to try to allocate that or minimize the impact. So I hope this continues to be the case, but I almost wonder if this isn't the anomaly. The other budget years were just not a lot of variables that we have to figure out. There's some of the brown grant windows, which I think has some conversation. We talk about a block of water main costing the same as replacing some windows. There's legitimacy in that debate. But if we don't have the information, which is debatable, and shortens the conversation about it.
Is there any different information or any additional information that you guys feel that you need as you're making these decisions?
Don't know what I don't know. Or if I don't think I don't know.
Yeah, I only give you what I want you to know.
So I do think that that's a strong
I've got to
skill
figure it
in
out.
parenting, like just give them the options if you're okay with taking. Give them all the options. John with the fire truck school, which fire truck would you like me to get? I can get this one or I can get this one, both of which are just fine. Get the shot.
And I will bring it back. So. Guess I don't really need to make any changes to anything. But I would bring it back probably just for approval then on August. August 20th.
You have enough time for publication, given
Oh, no,
weekly
August
publication
5th.
blade? Right, then we'll publish it.
I need to send it by the 15th. Yeah. August
You need to
15th.
send it by the 15th of August.
Well, to the paper, because it takes.
Gotcha.
I think that they publish on Thursdays and we're supposed to get them stuff the Thursday or Friday before occasionally, and they're really nice and they let us give stuff that Monday morning, but they really wanted it already ahead of time publication.
So yes, August 6th, just to formally go ahead with publishing, I guess. And then the public hearing would be on September 3rd.
And that's the hearing, this is when we plan to take the float, so we're exceeding the R&R.
So it would be both an R&R hearing and a budget hearing. They're combined, but I think it's two different votes. But a combined publication.
That's the meeting I can't be at, so is everybody else seeing that day? The 6th, oh, no, September.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. I entertain a motion to adjourn. That's it. Second.
Okay.
A motion by Commissioner Lambert, second by Commissioner Hutchison to adjourn the meeting. All in favor?
Bye.
Aye. All of those same sign, motion passes, the meeting is adjourned.
Did we not use